I got a I got a shiny Galarian Ponyta in Pokemon Go today. And then, I kid you not, about 40 minutes before starting this, I got yet another shiny Chansey in Pokemon Go. So, I'm back, everybody. Let's get this shiny Giratina. It was a small break since the last time I hunted for Giratina. But now we are back. Let's do this. And instead of talking about shows today, I figured today I would play a little catch-up. Go over some of the stuff that happened since the last time I was here. And if we have time, go over a movie I watched. Alright, so there's a couple things that happened that I particularly want to talk about. The first and biggest one that comes to mind is the Variety article written about Disney. Actually, maybe I should pull it up. Why didn't I think of that sooner? Okay, so I have the article pulled up. I want to give a shout out to Critical Drinker because his breakdown on this article is absolute perfection. So definitely go check out Critical Drinker's video on this very article. But this Variety article, Disney's Boy Trouble. Studio seeks original IP to win back Gen Z men amid Marvel Lucasfilm. Wow, that's weird. Men amid Marvel, Lucasfilm struggles. Anyways. So it says here, Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty aren't the only ones looking for a prince. Leadership at Walt Disney Studios has been pressing Hollywood creatives in recent months, multiple sources tell Variety, for movies that will bring back young men. Bring young men back to the brand in a meaningful way. Young men is defined here by sources as ages 13 to 28, aka Gen Z. Wow. Disney, what happened? You need young men back? Why is that the case, Disney? Oh no, what happened? Oh no, how terrible. What happened? Oh no. God, I love that clip. But wow, Disney, why do you need men back? You know, as Critical Drinker put it, you spent the last few years absolutely mocking us, belittling us, parading us. Well, maybe that's not the right word, but last few years, Disney, you've been telling us guys that you don't want us. You know? That we're misogynists and racists and sexist and whatever else because we didn't like the pandering bullshit that you kept on inserting into your projects. Oh, gee, I wonder why you suddenly want guys back. Is it perhaps the bullshit preachy products that you've put out the past few years driving us all away? Is it the box office flop after flop despite it being decent projects? I can't even say good. Decent projects. Is it because you have slowly declining brands and IPs? Or let's face it, is it because of those shareholder meetings every couple of weeks? Not weeks, every couple of months. And then you have to let them know the bottom line is very small compared to the past. What happened, Disney? Why do you suddenly want guys back? Why do you suddenly want men back? There's a giant Chanel ad here for Variety. And it's blocking majority of the screen. First, oh my god. I was about to read what it said, but then the stupid Chanel ad. It's literally blocking paragraphs. And there's not even an option to exit out of the ad. It just says scroll to continue. Yo, it's blocking the whole screen. I can't even scroll to continue. Man, the hell with the internet these days. Like, goddamn. Let's face it, we all know the truth. We all know the fact on why Disney is quote-unquote wanting men back. It's because of the money. Let's face it. Nowadays, Disney, if they had their choice, I can't speak today. If they had their choice, they don't want us back. They would be like, good riddance, men, stay away, we don't want you. We just want your money, and that's the truth. They don't want guys back, they want guys' money back. Because guess what? The brands, the IPs, the franchises that they absolutely destroyed lately is mostly guy brands. Marvel, Disney. You've ruined Marvel, Star Wars, two of the biggest guy brands out there, and you destroyed both of them. And then there's also stuff like Indiana Jones as well, Pirates of the Caribbean, like Disney, you have destroyed everything guys like that you own in hopes to pander more to women and gay people. And look what happened. You alienated everyone. Not even the people that you're trying to pander to want the crap you're trying to pull. And you know what? I'll say that after. So I don't get this article, like, original IP to win back Gen Z men. Why? Why do you need original IPs? The IPs you already have, people love them. Just don't ruin them. Just do them good again. It's not that hard. It's actually very simple, Disney. Like, God, whatever higher-ups are controlling Disney, they need to be fired. And they need to never work in Hollywood again. I'm sorry if that's cruel and harsh. I don't care. They don't care about you. They only care about your money. And it's pretty evident given all the crap that they've put out. Remember the creators of She-Hulk? I think it was She-Hulk. They said, I think in interviews, they explicitly wrote the show just to piss off men. And yeah, you can see. But why would you want to do that? Why would you want to piss off your audience, So, you want to know my thoughts on this? Disney, no. I do not forgive you, and I do not want to give you another chance. You have tested my patience for years. I don't even want to give you a second chance. I will come back once I see it for myself. But in the meantime, remember when Bob Iger said he was going to push quality over quantity? That he doesn't believe what they're putting out is woke, that they're going to go back to producing good content? Well, he said that quote years ago, and they've been doing the exact same thing ever since. Ever since he said that, they've done nothing different. They've kept on pushing their bullshit, preaching crap. Until I see real change for myself, I'm gone. I'm done with you, Disney. It should be at a point where I do not hear even one rumor about woke crap in any project. Not even one single rumor. I hear one single rumor. Nope. I'm done with you guys. I'm not watching it. Or at least I won't watch it. If it's something Marvel, I'll eventually watch it. But I ain't supporting you by going to the theater. I'll watch it online when it comes out. And not even on Disney+. I hear one single rumor. You can kiss my box office money goodbye. Unless something specific happens, like my cousin wanting to go watch Fantastic Four. I was heavily opposed against watching that. But it turned out to be a pretty good film. But, you know, that was... Let's face it, at this point, that was a pretty big fluke in the universe. And to say that Disney put out a good Marvel film is a fluke in the universe, you know something is messed up. Something's really broken there. But yes, it should be at a point where I don't even hear one single rumor about something woke happening. Remember in the past when Disney used to just churn out Marvel movies that were quality, for the most part? The rumors you heard were like filming locations and plot lines and possible character deaths, tie-ins to other storylines. You heard rumors about the movie itself. But nowadays, productions and projects are riddled with rumors about girl boss power and gay this and men bad that. It should be to the point where I do not hear one single rumor about any of that stuff. Look at all the rumors that surrounded Fantastic Four. Female Silver Surfer, Sue Storm being the leader, Reed Richards pussified. What? Yeah, Reed Richards being pussified. All those woke rumors. There was also rumors that their kid wasn't going to be Franklin Richards. It was going to be gender bent. Thankfully, majority of those were not true. But still, there were rumors nonetheless. It should be to the point there is no rumors. It should be to the point there is no rumors. Not even a single woke rumor about your projects. And also, it should be the point where I see differences for myself. I watch your shit, and I see no preaching, no pandering, no anything. Until I see change for myself, you're done with... What? I'm done with you, Disney. You've lost me. I don't care. You don't deserve a second chance, Disney. You don't. You have only yourself to blame, and you get what you fucking deserve. Like, I'm done with you, Disney. I'm done. Us men have been mocked. Us men have been tested. We've been told, we don't want you, go away, this is for girls and gay people. Well, guess what? We all left. We're done. I still watch their Marvel content out of completion's sake, but I'm not happy about it. And I certainly am not paying for it. You know? I'm not going to the theater to pay for it. And I'm not buying Disney Plus to watch it. Majority of the Marvel movies nowadays, I mostly just wait for, you know, it to come out online. There are exceptions, however. There was tons of praise for Thunderbolts, so that made me kind of want to see why it was so good in theaters, but then we ended up watching something else anyways. Avengers Doomsday, well, that's an Avengers movie. But here's the thing about that too, Avengers Doomsday, there's been rumors coming out about that movie too. Fights breaking out on set, Robert Downey Jr. threatening to quit the project. There was also reports coming out that Alan Cumming was acting all by himself in a green screen room, to the point he didn't even know who he was acting with because they gave him code names, not even the actual names of the characters he was acting with. Oh yeah, modern movie making, folks. Where you start production of a movie, you start filming without even a completed script. And you're not even acting off of different actors anymore. You're just acting in a big green screen room, and everything will just be touched up and fixed in post. It's all just, trust me, bro, it'll all make sense at the very end. Just trust me. I know it doesn't make sense what you're doing right now, but trust me, it'll all make sense after. The unfinished script for Avengers Doomsday is a real problem, because there's tons of reports coming out from several actors, or quoting several actors saying the script's not complete. They don't even know what they're acting for. That's pretty big. Despite it being the Russo brothers, I'm expecting Avengers Doomsday to be quite a mess. I'm expecting that, because they're still not done filming. The script, as of those reports coming out, has not been complete. And what about the VFX workers? What about the special effects? We know how long those take and how rushed Marvel has pushed them recently. So I'm expecting Avengers Doomsday to be quite a mess. I'm expecting the script to, fill our brains with dopamine the very first time we see it. But then when rewatching, it's like, I can see the cracks. I can see the gaps in logic. So I'm definitely expecting Avengers Doomsday to be something like that. Avengers Secret Wars, however, I have much more higher expectations for. Just because they have more time with that one. I kind of wouldn't mind if Avengers Doomsday was actually, delayed a year. Since it kind of seems like they really need it. This movie is coming out in less than a year. Granted, they already started filming, but it does not sound like filming is going smoothly. And also, that goddamn script is a pretty big problem. And there was a rumor I heard, that the script had to be changed because it focused too much on the female characters. See, it's rumors like that. I hear one woke rumor, you've lost me. I'm done. Nope. Even a single woke rumor. And it's like, man, I've lost interest now. I don't want to watch your preaching bull crap. I trust the Russos for the most part, but you have to remember, the Russos also, I imagine against their will, had to include those, girl boss moments in Infinity War and Endgame. I didn't really see much of a problem with Black Widow and Okoye facing against Proxima Midnight. I didn't actually have a problem with that. But the Avengers Endgame scene where all the women gather together. Yeah. So yeah. I hear even a single rumor about all this woke stuff. Nope. I'm done. It should be no rumors anymore. But that's not going to happen, at least not for a long time. You want to know why? Because Disney just keeps on putting out woke shit. So it's only natural that their future projects, regardless if it's good or not, regardless if it's free of that or not, will still have rumors. And Disney only have themselves to blame for that. They've done it to the point where it's only second instinct that people will spread these rumors about their upcoming projects. And then once people hear that, it's like, oh, never mind. I don't want to watch it anymore. At least not immediately. I don't want to go pay for it in the theater. You want to know what else? I've been saying for so long now, I've been saying that all this woke crap that Hollywood has been putting into their movies, into their shows. Gaming industry too. I've been saying for so long that all of these medias pushing all of this crap has been doing more harm than good. Like, they're actively doing more harm than good. They feel like they're doing more good because they're preaching equality and diversity and blah blah blah. But no, I don't think that. I believe they're actually doing more harm than good. Because take me for example. If I feel this way, you know very well others out there think the same way too. Only others out there think it probably more extreme. So, take me for an example. Sometimes when I'm out in public, sometimes when just minding my business in real life, you know, just a gay couple walks by, I think to myself, oh my god, it's woke again, it's preaching again. And then I have to remind myself, no, it's not. Wait, that's real. That's an actual gay couple there. And then I go about my day. But you can only imagine how bad it can get for someone else who doesn't remind themselves, oh yeah, this is real life. That actually exists. That might be a bad example. But you want to know another example? So this one's probably better. So I have seen online the damage all the stuff and the Me Too movement has caused, and I'm sure you guys online have seen it as well. I've seen videos online of women sharing their thoughts like, why don't guys approach women anymore? Why don't guys make the first move anymore? Guys just don't want to date anymore. And then I've seen other clips like women saying, I look good, I look beautiful, I did my hair, I did my makeup, I'm at the club, no one approaches me. Why don't guys approach me anymore? I've seen those clips online, and gee, I wonder why that's the case. I wonder why that's happening. Is it possibly because that Hollywood has been preaching nonstop for the past several years that guys are disgusting? Guys are absolutely sexual deviants. Guys are the cause of everything bad in this world, and yet somehow are not necessary because women strong, women independent, they can do anything themselves. They don't need a man to save them, or they don't need a man in their life. We don't need a prince to sweep us off our feet, that kind of shit. It's like, gee, I wonder why. I wonder guys aren't interested in dating anymore. And there's also that thing, us guys, fellas, my fellow boys out there, I think we can understand this as well. I think we collectively understand this as well. I feel like it's kind of bullshit for the guy on the first date to provide. I feel like that's kind of bullshit, you know? But in a way, if you want to look at it this way, it's kind of like reassuring you have money. Money is everything, let's face it, guys. Money is everything in this world. And you have to keep in mind, if that date leads to, you know, having a family, man, kids are expensive. But yeah, I feel like it's kind of bullshit on the first date to expect the guy to have to provide. Wouldn't realistically you split the bill? You pay for your food, the other person pays for their food? Wouldn't that just make more sense? Because here, you know, more of the impact of the Me Too movement or whatever. It's like, well, what's stopping women from just being like, you know what, it's not working between us, and just constantly getting a bunch of free meals, right? At the expenses of guys paying every single time on the first date. Because you know there's people out there. There's people out there that's like, I found a life hack to get free food. Just go on several dates, You know, because it's a given that guys pay on the first date, and then just afterwards be like, it's not working between us, I don't like you, bye now. And bam! Life hack, you just got a free meal. It's like, well, obviously that's not the case everywhere and every time. But guys, we just don't really want to deal with that anymore, especially thanks to Hollywood. So you see what I mean when I say Hollywood has done more harm than good? And wow, look at that. Guys aren't interested in dating anymore, and women are just like, where'd all the guys go? Why aren't guys interested in dating anymore? Why don't guys make the first move anymore? Like, what's it gonna take for these people preaching all this shit to finally get the message? What, you want guys to not date so much to the point the population goes down? Well, then you receive the message? So yeah, Disney, you messed up. You have messed up. We've been telling you for years, get your shit together, get back on track, stop all this crap that you're putting into your shows and movies. You just kept on doing it. Kept on doing it. Well, now you've lost billions of dollars. Now every one of your projects is flopping. And you supposedly want to win guys back. You don't want to win guys back. You want to win guys' money back. You want to win that box office money back. Yeah, no. No, Disney. No. You don't deserve a second chance. It's not even your second chance at this point. It's like your 1000th chance. But, nope. Need I remind you, you gave us shit like Ironheart just earlier in the year? Sure, you tried to bury it, but why? Why did you try to bury it? Why did you hold off on releasing it for 3 years? Is it because you knew what you were releasing was absolute trash? I also saw this... I saw this trailer the other day. I forget what it was called. What was it? Was it this one? Oh, it is this one. It is this movie. Okay. Okay. So, I watched a movie in the theater a couple days ago, which, if I have time, I will discuss. So, I watched a movie in the theater a couple days ago, and I saw this trailer. It looked kind of interesting, I'll be honest. The movie is called One Battle After Another. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio and a bunch of other people I'm not too familiar with. Well, it does star her as well. What was her name again? Erin Kellyman. Yeah, it stars her as well. But yeah, I was watching this trailer in the theater. I was like, okay, it looks good. It looks good so far. The movie looks fine so far. And then there was this one line in the trailer where, you know, it's like Leonardo DiCaprio's character is talking to Erin Kellyman's character. And it's just like, Your friend's here? Now, is that a he or a she or a they? It's not... and then she's just like, they, them. I'm just like, you know what? Nope. You lost me. I don't care how good this movie is. I don't care if it's an Oscar-worthy one. Nope. One preaching line. One line like that, never mind. I'm not gonna watch it. One line like that, I already lost interest. Nope. The trailer looked pretty good too. But then that one line, is that a he or a she or a they? And then she's just like, they, them. Nope. 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 No, 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 no. I will not be watching this. Oh, that's not even her. Whoops. That's not... Wait, that's not even... Chase Infinity. Wait, they look so similar. Wait, who is this? Wow. She looks very much like Erin Kellyman. Wow, I actually got these two confused. Well, never mind. I don't know who this one is. I don't know who Chase Infinity is. Never heard of her. Never seen... Have I seen her projects? Oh yeah, also Google now has an AI mode, which is dumb. Oh no, this is only her second project. No wonder I haven't heard of her. This is her second project. She's on a show called Presumed Innocent. But yeah, one battle after another. One... I see here on the scroll on the bar, scrolling over the bar, that's the most replayed scene. Like, I don't care how good this movie is. That one line, nope, never mind. I'm not interested anymore. Alright, moving on from Hollywood, which, by the way, yeah, I think it's pretty clear that the human race has been poisoned with all this woke crap. It's in Hollywood, it's in the gaming industry. It's also in marketing, too. Just look at what happened to Pickle Barrel. The human race has been poisoned, and I don't think it'll ever go back to the way it was. As much as we want it to, I don't think it ever will. Small things are always going to slip through the cracks, meaning it's never fully gone. We're not fully past it. So, until probably many, many, many decades from now, when absolutely all of this preaching bullshit is gone, human race has been absolutely poisoned. And speaking of which, there's been stuff that came out about the American Eagle ads with Sydney Sweeney. The ad slogans are like, Sydney Sweeney has good genes, because, you know, she's wearing jeans, and no surprise, Sydney Sweeney is a beautiful girl, a beautiful woman, in their ads. No surprise, the stock market or whatever, the stocks for American Eagle skyrocketed, thanks to having Sydney Sweeney in their ads. But lunatics online have been complaining that, what, they have a white woman in their ads instead of someone else? Like, left lunatics online are calling this Nazi propaganda. Like, what the fuck? You have Sydney Sweeney in your commercial. How the fuck is that Nazi propaganda? I feel like the definition of things has been lost. People just throw out terms that sound bad just to try to make their point. I mean, what's next? People are gonna say, like, this and this is 9/11 propaganda. It's like, do you even know what that means? Like, how is that related whatsoever? I don't know, it's just a bunch of imbeciles online. Left lunatics. People are actually complaining about the fact that Sydney Sweeney is in American Eagle ads, and they're doing like a double entendre with the slogan, she has great genes. Do I even need to break it down? The first one is because of the jeans that she's wearing with a Jeans, the pants. And then obviously, she has great genetics, genes, because she's beautiful. Oh, what? So if someone fat and of color and of probably sexuality as well, someone gay, fat, and darker skinned was there, what? Suddenly the world then knows world peace, because everyone's just like, ah, yes, diversity, inclusion. You know, to me it just sounds like diversity just does not include white folks. That's just all it sounds like, because people are upset that Sydney Sweeney, a white chick, was in the ad. It's like, no, they should have had someone of color. So, and remember a couple years ago, has it really been that long, where Disney was exposed for purposely not hiring people who are white? Doesn't that kind of sound like discrimination? And wasn't Disney sued a while back over discrimination against men? Well, this world is absolutely on fire. This world is upside down. This world is poisoned. And we are never going to get back to how it was. We can try our best to fight off the disease, but it'll never go back to the way it was. I was about to say let's move on from Hollywood, but no, we have more Hollywood stuff to talk about. And this time, it's not negative. It's actually somewhat positive. Not specifically Hollywood, more so. The trailer for Marvel's Zombies came out. And at first I thought, this is a weird trailer. It's like rapid fire clips. There's this like weird song playing over it. It kind of grew on me, but the trailer, I kind of wish that they took a different approach to the trailer. So, Marvel Zombies, this entire 4-episode miniseries, is a spin-off of one What If episode all the way back in season 1. Now, I'm hoping that this 4-episode show is going to be good. And I say that because that initial What If Zombies episode sucked. That episode was trash. By the looks of it, yeah, they're going all out. This episode, or this show, looks pretty good. Okay, so starting off the trailer, they explicitly tell us that this is TVMA, which, excellent. Good. It's a goddamn zombie show, albeit animated, and 4 episodes. So, yes, TVMA, excellent. I wonder if we're gonna get any F-bombs, you know? So yeah, we see a ton of things happen in this trailer. We see characters like Shang-Chi and Katie. We're seeing the downfall of California. We see Zombie Okoye, so we know her fate, as if that was unknown given that initial episode. We also see in the background Zombie Abomination, so I wonder how that happened. We see helicopters flying by and trying to, you know, cleanse the world. We see someone have their heart ripped out of their chest by someone. I can't tell who this is. It kind of looks like Zeus with the beard, but it's really hard to tell who this character is. And also, it's kind of hard to tell who the person is with his heart ripped out. It's really hard to tell who these characters are. So yeah, we see a bunch of new zombie characters. We see in this lineup, we see a lot in the trailer. Zombie Hawkeye, Okoye, Abomination. We also see Zombie Ghost for the first time, Ava Starr. Zombie Captain America's back. We just see the scale of all the zombies in this universe. So one thing to note is that all the zombies now have glowing red eyes, so that makes me think they're under the influence of Zombie Scarlet Witch. So we also get a couple of characters that, we now know who we're going to follow. So we're going to follow characters like Yelena Belova, Red Guardian, Miss Marvel. Obviously, I already mentioned Shang-Chi, as well as Katie. Now, the beginning shot shows, next to the TVMA, a zombie being shot in the head with an arrow. Now, that's kind of interesting because Hawkeye's already dead. He's already a zombie, so that makes me think Kate Bishop. But timeline-wise, Kate Bishop hasn't become Hawkeye yet. She hasn't met Clint Barton yet. So, our remaining characters are going to meet this Kate Bishop character who is also really good at archery. But to them, she's just a random person. She has no affiliation with Hawkeye. But it's also kind of cool to see, or to think about where characters have been when the zombie apocalypse started. Because you have to remember, the Marvel Zombies episode of What If all those years back took place in 2018, right before Infinity War. It took place after Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Well, not really after. It took place during. And then we also see Bruce Banner return to Earth, trying to warn about Thanos. So, timeline-wise, some characters shouldn't be here. Characters like Kate Bishop, or more importantly, characters like Miss Marvel, who have not yet discovered her grandmother's bangles yet. So this is, seems like there's more than one Nexus event happening in this universe. Where it's not just the zombie virus, but also maybe Kamala Khan discovered her powers much sooner. We also see in the trailer Zombie Namor, which, the world is completely screwed. Not even the ocean is safe. We also see a whole bunch of blood shots in this. We also see Jimmy Woo back. He's here for some reason. So I'm very curious about Zombie Thanos wielding the Infinity Stones. He has 5 out of 6 as he doesn't have the Mind Stone yet. We also see our returning characters from that one episode. So we see Spider-Man, we see Black Panther with 1 leg, and then we also see Scott Lang, who is just a hovering head being transported around by the Cloak of Levitation. We see Spider-Man doing some maneuvers, actually using his webs to take off a whole bunch of zombie heads. Pretty cool. Seeing Spider-Man do something like that. It's pretty cool. And then we see someone look like he's coming down from the Bifrost. I, among everyone else, thought this was Thor. But then I saw New Rockstar's breakdown. This might be Icarus. Zombie Icarus. It's hard to say. We did have concept art long ago about a zombified Icarus. So, damn, Zombie Eternals, that's gonna be quite a boss fight. And yes, my voice did just crack. But probably the biggest character reveal in this trailer, Blade. Not just regular Blade, though. Blade, who is also the avatar of Khonshu, Moon Knight. Blade is Moon Knight in this universe. And Blade is absolutely modeled after Mahershala Ali. So this does kind of confirm Blade exists in the Marvel Universe. It was already confirmed for the Eternals post-credit scene where we heard his voice. But we haven't seen Blade in live action yet. You know, the Mahershala Ali version, not the Wesley Snipes version. So yeah, as if we needed confirmation, Blade does exist, and he does resemble Mahershala Ali. But it's kind of crazy to think that he is the avatar for Khonshu. He is Moon Knight. And then we get this, like, kick-ass sword fight between him and Ghost, zombie Ghost. He impales Ghost, and then that, for some reason, stops her, as if she can feel pain. And then he just slices her into bits, showing off all the blood and gore. Well, that already confirms a scene that's going to happen. That's going to confirm a zombie character who's going to die. And then we also got some cast listing at the very end, some of which did not make voice appearances in this trailer. So we have the following cast: Elizabeth Olsen. So that might suggest that we're going to hear her voice Wanda before she turned into a zombie. Unless zombie Scarlet Witch is so intelligent she can actually speak. We also got Paul Rudd returning, Florence Pugh, David Harbour, Tessa Thompson, who we did not hear in the trailer, Simu Liu, Awkwafina, Haley Steinfeld, Wyatt Russell, who we did not hear in the trailer, Randall Park, Iman Vellani, and Dominique Thorne. So Ironheart is going to be in this trailer. Not in this trailer. Ironheart is going to be in this show. But why? You know, just why? As if we didn't already have enough of her lately. I don't know. Do I really want to see Riri Williams die and become a zombie? Well, the character sucks, so maybe. The character is bad. She's a bad character. She ain't no hero. Her show was a villain origin story. Alright, moving on from Hollywood. Unless I'm forgetting anything else. Oh yeah, Peacemaker Season 2 has started. I have not started watching it yet. Oh yeah, speaking of Marvel, so Kumail Nanjiani actually confirmed that initially he had signed on to Marvel for like 6 movies and a video game. A video game's interesting, but 6 movies. And all of that was scrapped due to the fact that Eternals was a flop. I don't know, me personally, I thought Eternals was okay. Aside from the woke stuff that was in it, I thought Eternals was just okay. I didn't hate the movie. I actually really like the theme song. Like the Eternals theme, I do like it. But aside from that, I thought the movie of Eternals was okay. I thought it was watchable, you know? It's not unwatchable trash like Echo was, like Ironheart was, like She-Hulk, aside from Daredevil. Alright, let's move on from Hollywood stuff, and let's talk about some Pokemon news, specifically Pokemon Go. So, since the last time I was here hunting for Giratina, the Go Fest Max Finale has come and gone. I already mentioned and showed off everything that I got during that when I did the Shiny Chiyu raids. So instead, we got a bunch of news regarding what's coming up in Pokemon Go. So up next, we have the Tales of Transformation season. So, you know, you get your Keldeo if you haven't gotten it before. So new Pokemon are coming in, kind of like Hydrapple, kind of like Indeedee. Great, I got a 98 IV Applin. I'm waiting to evolve into a Hydrapple. And then we also got news about the next coming Wild Area event. So the Wild Area event is also coming back in Pokemon Go. Safari Balls are making their return. So Impidimp is gonna release. Yeah. What else was happening with Pokemon Go? I could have sworn there was more. So there's also this Pokemon Concierge release celebration happening soon, where there's a new costume Psyduck that can be shiny, so I'm gonna hunt my ass off for that. I'm gonna try. There's Shadow Groudon coming, the raid day. There's this like Kanto celebration going on right now, which I don't really care. I'm playing it, but like, man, I am sick of the Kanto region. I'm not gonna lie, at this point, the Kanto region is indeed my least favorite. I know that's a hot take, but it's just like we keep going back to Kanto over and over and over. It's like, I'll be honest, I didn't think Kanto was that interesting to begin with, and the fact that we just keep on going back to it over and over. I want new regions, I want new areas to explore. I want new Pokemon. But I get it, the original 151 are iconic and marketable. And the most recognizable for any newcomers into Pokemon in general. So it doesn't, it makes sense why Pokemon just keeps on going back to the original 151. Oh yeah, also Mega Metagross is coming to Pokemon Go, as well as Mega Sharpedo and Mega Camerupt. And I think after those ones are in Pokemon Go, all that's left is Mega Mewtwo X and Y until the new ZA Legends come out. What? ZA Megas come out. Which, speaking of which, since I was gone, we also got a couple of new Megas announced. Previously, we had Mega Dragonite announced. We also, since then, had the announcement of Mega Victory Bell, and as well as Mega Hawlucha. And you know what's interesting? The leaks that we have, those two are pretty spot on. We got some description leaks for all the new Megas. We even had, mock-up concept art for what the new Megas might look like based on the leaked descriptions. And they're pretty spot on. Mega Victory Bell as well as Mega Hawlucha's designs were descriptively leaked. And yeah, they are pretty on the dot. So that borderline confirms to me that all the other leaked Mega Evolutions are true. Sad part is, the leaks do not have a Mega Flygon, so it seems like more than 10 years still isn't enough for them to come up with a design for Mega Flygon. Flygon pisses me off. I always lose to him. But yeah, the reveal trailers for Mega Victory Bell as well as Mega Hawlucha, they kinda seem like they're doing what Smash Brothers is doing. Like a full-on animated trailer, and then we get this big reveal. So I'm down for it. Oh, you know what? Speaking of Smash, similarly enough, kind of Smash adjacent, we got a Nintendo Direct for Kirby Air Riders. And the game looks great. There is so much depth to that game that Sakurai took like 40 minutes to describe it all. And it wasn't even all of it. And you can definitely see some similarities to Smash Brothers, just because, you know, Sakurai made that game as well. So you can see similarities in the layout, in the text fonts, in the way things get presented, the victory screens, everything. You can see similarities because it's just, at this point, Sakura's specialty. It's just Sakura's style of game design. You know what? I'm excited for Kirby Air Riders. I never got a chance to play the original, but I want to. And I also want to play Kirby Air Riders. Even Sakurai in the Direct himself was like, people are saying this is similar to Mario Kart. Is it? Yes, kinda. And it does seem like I'm going to need a Switch 2 sooner rather than later, because these days I've noticed that my Nintendo Switch starts to die at 30% battery, so that kind of spells out a degrading battery. So it seems like I will need a Switch 2 sooner rather than later. So, you know. Well, guess the PlayStation 5 to play GTA 6 when that comes out will have to wait. Let's see, was there anything else that happened? I suppose I did mention that Cracker Barrel thing, and then I didn't really elaborate on that. So Cracker Barrel did this stupid thing where a bunch of companies did the same stupid thing. They are simplifying their logos when it didn't need to change whatsoever. Cracker Barrel borderline removed the old white guy in the logo, and then all they had in the logo was just Cracker Barrel, which was really stupid. I've only eaten at Cracker Barrel like 2 times in my whole life, not because I don't like it, it's just because not really a whole lot of motivation to go. And well, the closest Cracker Barrel to me, well, that closed down and was replaced by another restaurant years ago. Well, with enough backlash, the CEO of Cracker Barrel actually changed the logo back. So, good. Was there anything else? Well, there hasn't really been too much DC news or Walking Dead news. It did come out, I think, that Season 4 of Dead City will also be the last. So Daryl Dixon and Dead City are both ending with Seasons 4. So obviously that raises the question, what's going to happen after? Well, I'm trying to find a music to put on, but I can't seem to find an extended version, so I guess never mind. Is this it? Oh, you want to know what's funny also? Something I like to watch just for the fun of it is content like idiots in cars. People who just like constantly like car crashes, car accidents, idiots in cars. So I watched one random video and then I noticed like this place, is this right outside my house? Like, it looks like one of the traffic lights right outside my house. And the more I look at it, I think it is. A random video I watched just so happened to randomly have a clip that took place right outside my house. I'm not going to say which video, and I'm not going to say when in the video it happened, because that's just going to dox me. But I thought that was kind of crazy. Like, I just happened to watch this one random video out of the thousands of car accident compilation videos. And it just happened to have a clip that took place right outside of my house. Me, of all people, to find it and notice. Anyways, is this the music I'm looking for? Yeah, it is. Alright, let's talk about a movie real quick. Because I actually watched a movie with my friends a couple days ago. I think we watched this maybe 3 days ago. So 3 days ago, my friends and I, we went out to watch, in the theater, Weapons. We watched Weapons. And the movie was okay. Okay to pretty good. Although, remember what I said earlier about even one woke aspect in movies destroying it, or destroying my perspective of it at least? Well, this movie had it. But I'll get to it when we reach that point. So, obviously, before the movie started, there were trailers for other upcoming movies that played beforehand, and there was a couple of standout ones I noticed. Now, what the hell was that movie called? Okay, so one movie trailer that played is called Keepers. And it stars, I don't know who the guy is, but it also stars Tatiana Maslany. Oh, shouldn't play the trailer here. Tatiana Maslany. She-Hulk herself. I was watching the trailer and I'm like, is that her? Is that her? It looks like her. So it's, you know, the trailer basically is about these two people, this quote-unquote couple, who live together in the middle of who knows where, in the middle of the woods. And the first half of the trailer is like, who is this man I share my life with? Can I trust him? And then the second half of the trailer does the same thing. The guy is like, who is this woman I live with, I share my life with? Can I trust her? And then it turns out like something supernatural is going on, and they both think each other's the cause of it. I don't know, it actually looks like a pretty intriguing concept for a film. The thing is, though, like, it's Tatiana Maslany, and I can't help but feel like She-Hulk has kind of damaged her reputation a little bit. So it kind of surprised me to see, you know, She-Hulk herself in this kind of movie. Then again, I haven't really seen anything else that Tatiana Maslany is in, besides She-Hulk. Let's see. What was the other one? There was another movie trailer that showed, or was that one... Or is that one the one I talked about earlier? You know what's funny? When my friends and I, we sat down to watch Weapons, there was this random guy next to me, and then he just started talking to me. He just started to, you know, he tried to start up a conversation with me. And I didn't want to be rude, so I just replied a couple sentences. I sat down and he's just like, woo, full theater. That's kind of unbelievable to see. And not to be rude, so I replied like, yeah, you know, this is a rare sight to see. Given Hollywood is in shambles, you don't really see full theaters. So it was just a small exchange back and forth. What else happened was the fact that during the movie he opened a beer, like a glass beer bottle. He opened a beer and it kind of sprayed everywhere and a bit of it got on my arm. So halfway into the movie he opened a beer bottle and some of it sprayed onto me. Wow, that's nice. So, Weapons. It's an interesting film. Yeah, Weapons. I can't lie, throughout watching the movie, I was kind of thinking, why is this movie titled Weapons? I feel like this movie would have done better if it was titled something else. Like, the title Weapons hardly had any relation to the movie itself. Although, naming the movie something like Witches would have just given away the plot, I feel like. But the movie had very small relations to weapons. I hear the word weapons as the title of a movie, I think to myself, you know, weapons like swords, guns, knives, baseball bats, golf clubs, you know, weapons. But this movie really wasn't anything like that at all. So I have a shit ton of questions regarding this movie, all of which will never be answered because this movie's a one and done. There ain't never going to be a sequel to this movie. And nor does there need to be. It's a very simple premise that really works just as a one film kind of deal. So, Weapons, we opened up the movie with someone narrating, explaining the basic premise of the movie. So, we have this school. Oh, by the way, there's a whole bunch of recognizable actors and names attached to this movie, too. Okay, so we have recognizable faces like, you know, Julia Gardner, Josh Brolin, Benedict Wong, and also, I'm gonna butcher this guy's last name, Alden Ehrenreich. Oh my god, I butchered his last name so badly. So yeah, the most recognizable names that I saw in this movie, Julia Gardner, Josh Brolin, Benedict... Did I say Benedict Cumberbatch? Did I just say that? Benedict Wong, as well as Alden Ehrenreich. Shit, I'm sorry, I messed up your last name so badly, man. I'm just gonna call him I'm just gonna call him Alden by his first name. I can't even pronounce his last name. And I gotta say, Alden did a pretty good job in this movie. I've seen him in very few projects, but you know what? Hey, I'm happy for you, man. You did a good job in this movie. It's a pretty well-praised movie from what I see online. And it kind of seems like you're no longer the cuck of Hollywood. I think this guy's problem is that he just needs to act not for Disney. Look at what Star Wars and Marvel did to this guy. I think this guy's problem is he needs to act not for Disney. Because it almost seems like Disney just has a cucking fetish out for this guy. The 2 Disney projects he's been in, yikes. Poor guy. So anyways, yeah, the movie starts off by someone narrating the main premise of the movie. So, you know, it's a school, a brand new teacher is working at the school, and for some reason, only in her class, 17 students got up in the middle of the night, specifically at 2:17 a.m., 17 kids, and they just ran out the door and disappeared. The narration at the beginning kinda lied, I couldn't help but notice. Because the narration at the very beginning was like, these kids vanished and were never seen again. But then clearly by the end of the film, they were seen again. So yeah, this movie is kind of broken up into chapters, into sections, into different perspectives. So up first, we have Julia Gardner's character, Justine. So, you know, Justine is obviously investigated because only students in her class disappeared. However, there was one child who did not disappear, and that was Alex. A little boy named Alex, the only student in this class that did not run out the door. So, obviously, the police, the authorities, are going to investigate both of them. They're going to investigate the teacher, like what happened, did this teacher do anything, did this teacher plant any thoughts in the kids' minds to run out in the middle of the night? Did Alex know anything? Did his classmates say anything about, like, a plan to do this? That kind of thing. Like, is there a new TV show that is inspiring kids to do it? So there's this PTA meeting at the school where everyone meets together about the circumstances that unfolded. And then we get Josh Brolin's character, Archer, you know, the parent of one of the kids who went missing, and he's just like, I want to know the answers from her. Why only from her class did all the students disappear? Why only her class? So, no surprise that she is kind of blamed for despite not knowing what happened herself. So the whole town hates her because they want to blame her for the fact that all these kids disappeared. And, you know, Justine coping with this, she's also put on a leave of absence for her own safety because all the adults in the town are hating on her. So she goes to this booze shop, and there's this guy that opened the door for her, begging for spare change. I kind of thought, why even put that guy in the film? Now, because I only saw this film once and I didn't know what else was coming, I don't know if that character is the exact same character as another we follow later in the film or not, but for the sake of it, I'm just gonna say they are the same character. So she also sees... she buys drinks and then she goes home. And she's paranoid, you know? She's paranoid that someone's following her. So she goes into her home and then she hears a bunch of knocking at her door. But she opens the door, she calls out like, who's there? No one's at her door. She walks out and looks around, no one's at her door. But then she notices her car has the word witch painted all over it. And that paint ain't coming off. So she's driving around the town with witch painted on her car. Damn, that's rough. She also tries to talk to the principal of the school, Marcus, to try to talk to Alex, the one kid who did not disappear. But Marcus is just like, no, let's leave him alone. He has been traumatized. He has non-stop been, not left alone by the authorities. Let's just leave him alone. And then he's also like, it's unprofessional of you to talk to students like that and even drive them home. And the reason she did that is because, you know, the student was left alone, lived close to her, so she offered to drive the student back home. It was a nice gesture. but it was kind of seen as inappropriate. Now, I'm not going to argue if that's good or not. I'm not going to do that. But Justine, she just can't stay away. So she follows Alex back to his house, but she notices there's something weird going on with Alex's house. All the doors, the windows are all covered up with newspapers. So Justine goes around to the back of the house, looks through a little gap in the window, and she notices two people's silhouettes just still. So she tries to call Marcus, the principal, and is trying to tell him like, something's going up with this house, with that kid. She's also, she also meets up with her friend played by Alden. Paul, I think his name was, the name of the cop. They have drinks, they fuck. And then she gets attacked by Paul's woman. There's also the scene that, I'm not gonna lie, was rather creepy. So she camped out in front of Alex's house for a little bit, waiting for anything to happen. And then it turns dark. She's asleep in her car, and then the camera pans to the front of the house where the door opens. This person with a blade, a pair of scissors in her hand, just walks really goofy out the door, straight to the car. And then you hear the back door open. The back door of the car opens. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty creepy. Considering all of it was shot in one sequence, none of it was a cut. But oh no, that wasn't there to kill Justine. No. The scissors only cut off some of her hair. And we find out for what later on. And we also got these sequences that were really weird, really... If you think about it, it makes no sense. So, Justine has nightmares that, she's hated by the town. She has nightmares that someone maybe wants to hurt her and breaks into her house. She has a nightmare about that, although she calms down. She tries to go back to sleep, but then when she opens her eyes, there's this, clown woman on the ceiling. So she screams in horror, and then she wakes up. So, initially, we were all thinking, who the hell was that? Who on earth was that? There's this random clown lady that she just saw in her nightmare. What? That came out of nowhere. And I'm not gonna lie, that was one of the cheapest jump scares I've ever seen in my entire life. So, remember how I said this movie was broken up into different sections? So, now we follow Archer. I probably missed a couple of storylines. We follow Archer. We follow his perspective. We see his perspective on the PTA meeting and seeing a different perspective on everything else. I find it pretty cool to see that, Benedict Wong's character, the principal, Marcus, trying to calm down the crowd and leave Justine alone. They clearly shot that scene 2 different times, to hide the cameras and to film different perspectives and different angles. But it's pretty obvious that they dubbed over what Benedict Wong said the first time. They dubbed over his lines over the new footage that they reshot just for the different angle. I think that's pretty clear. So Josh Brolin's character, Archer, he misses his son dearly. So he sleeps in his son's bed. That's a little bizarre, but you know what? Not gonna lie, I feel like my dad would do the same thing. So, yeah. Archer wakes up, he goes to work, and he's like a landscaper or whatever. He builds houses. So it turns out he ordered the wrong color paint, so he opted to bring it back. himself. On his way back, he notices Justine, so he follows her. And then it turns out he's the one who painted Witch on her car. Now, it was never explicitly answered in this movie. I mentioned earlier Justine, while she was home, someone was knocking at her door, but no reply. She even walked out and saw no one. It was never actually said who was doing the knocking. You kind of have to piece together in your mind that it was Archer who did the knocking, but why? But why? Right? Kind of wouldn't make sense. Unless you're telling me he knocked at the door to get some answers, but then he decided to leave and paint Witch on her car all before she had time to grab a potential weapon and walk out to look around. And, oh, don't even get me started, okay, about the whole security cameras thing. So I'll talk about that at the end of the movie, because that alone just destroys the entire movie's plot. So we follow Archer. So he's looking over his Ring doorbell footage of his son leaving the house, because, yep, he has that. So he begins to notice something. The direction that his son ran out. So he pulls out a map, and he's just like, alright, assuming you ran in a straight line, you would end up somewhere here. So he goes to some other house, the house of a different parent whose kid also ran out, and asks for their footage, their Ring doorbell footage. So now he has two different angles. On the map, draws two lines, and they intersect somewhere. So maybe if they ran in a straight line, they ended up somewhere around here. And then Archer, he sleeps in his son's bed again, and then he has this dream about finding his son, chasing after his son as he runs out. But then he turns around, looks back at his house, and then first of all, there's a clock in the air above his house, and then there's a gun. I don't know exactly what gun it is. It's like a rifle. It's like, what? There's like an AK-47 on top of his house with a clock in the middle. Like, what? That was so random. That had no relevance to the movie whatsoever. Yet for some reason, in Archer's dream, chasing after his son, there's just like gun on top of his house. The hell? Whatever. Archer goes back into his house in his dream. He finds his son in his bed and he's just like, damn it, son, where are you? Matthew, where are you? I love you so much, son. I wish I could tell you that. But then he also gets jump scared by the same clown lady. So he wakes up in shock, and he's just like, what the fuck? And it's like, yeah, what the fuck? There's this now clown lady that showed up in two people's dreams. I started wondering, is this like a Pennywise kind of thing? There's this Pennywise kind of clown thing going around. Only this time it looks like it's a female clown. Okay, so also I should mention that the way the kids ran out the door, they run in a very goofy way. Their arms are on their side. They're not swinging their arms like you normally do when you run. So the kids run in a really goofy way. Alright, so Archer is just driving. He notices that Justine is at a gas station. So he pulls up to confront her. And then she sees in the distance Marcus running towards her in that goofy run as well. His face is covered in blood as well. And then he gets close to attack her. To start attacking them. But then we cut off to the next character's portion of the movie. Paul, the cop. So it turns out that, you know, the police captain is his woman's father. So, wow, okay, and he even cheats on her, too. So, Paul going out on patrol, he notices this shady guy in an alleyway, looks just like he's breaking into somewhere, so he chases him down. So he's doing his thing, he's patting down the person, like, do you have any weapons on you, anything sharp in your pockets? I don't want to be poked by anything. The druggie, his name is James. So Paul searches his pockets, and then he gets poked by a needle. So out of rage, he just punches Paul, socks him across the head, knocking him out. But then he realizes that, oh no, the police car dash cam captured all that. It captured a police officer, I guess, quote-unquote, technically wrongfully assaulting someone who is detained. Damn, I gotta admit, in this instance, seeing all the context, I'm on the cop's side. Normally, I'm not on the cop's sides, but this time I am. Because, he asked very politely to the drug addict, do you have anything in your pockets? Because I don't want to be poked by anything. So he says no. So Paul searches, and then he gets poked by a needle. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of on Paul's side this time. I'm on the cop's side. Like, yeah, he deserved to be socked across the noggin and knocked out. So then, because of this, he doesn't want the guy to, report, hey, police assault or whatever. So he's just like, all right, James, let me give you a warning. Neither of us will speak of this again. If you agree to that, then you're free to go. But I don't want to see you again. So, he goes back to the police station after letting James go. He talks to the police captain, and, it's just like, well, if you stay quiet about this, it'll blow over in like a month. Also, after he cheats on his girl with Justine, he goes back home to her, not knowing that she came back home early, and then he has a terrible poker face, because his face is covered with guilt and shame, that she instantly knew, you bastard. You cheated on me with that dirty dick of yours. Which did lead into whatever her name was, trying to attack Justine later on in the beer shop. So then we see Paul leaving the station, seeing James. And then he says, what did I tell you? What did I fucking tell you? I told you not to come here again. I told you I didn't want to see your face again. So he gets in his police cruiser and chases him down. But then up next, we follow James' story, the drug addict. So we see that he is low on drugs. So he needs to make money to, get his fix. And as he's on the call with, I assume, his drug dealer, like, hey, how am I supposed to make money if I'm not on my A game, like, without a fix? So if you give me just a little bit of a taste, I can be at my full 100%, and I can get you more money for more goodies. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man, throw me a deal here, throw me a bone, give me a little bit. While he's on the phone, he is going car to car, trying to open the door, seeing which one's unlocked. And the scary thing is, like, there are people out there that really exist like this. There are really people out there that go car to car, trying every handle to see which car is unlocked. Whichever car is unlocked for them to go in and pillage. So it's a scary reminder that there really are people out there that go car to car, seeing which ones are unlocked, seeing what they can steal inside. Because James, he goes car to car, and then, sadly enough, some poor soul left her car unlocked. So James literally jumps in, and he steals what looks like a little girl's school bag. So he finds this, like, very pink, very girly, like, I don't know, audiobook player, and he tries to pawn that off, but even the guy doesn't want it. However, James looks around and he notices a reward poster on the wall. We'll get back to that later. So James, he tries his best to, make some money. And then, wow, what a coincidence. He goes and he just happens to hit the house that is Alex's house. The house that is nice and big and rich looking. The house that is completely covered up with newspapers on the windows. So, wow, what a coincidence. This guy just happened to choose this one house to break into out of all the potential houses. So he breaks into the house by going into the backyard, climbing up the drain pipe, and opening a window that just happened to be unlocked. Wow. So he goes into the house, Alex's house, grabs a pillowcase and begins to pillage, going through everything that he can get his grubby little hands on to make a quick buck. So he goes into the house, and then he notices two people just sitting on the couch, absolutely still. First he gets scared, but then he realizes, hey, these two people aren't moving. I guess I can continue pillaging. What's interesting to note is that these two people, they had a bunch of, scars and wounds on their face. I kind of was thinking, these people are dead. They've been taxidermied. But no, they start moving later. So James steals a bunch of cutlery, a bunch of silverware. And then the people start moving behind him, so he gets freaked out. He tries his best to leave. But then he somehow ends up in the basement, where he notices, hey, there's a bunch of kids just standing still in the basement. Anyways, so let's get out of here. This place is a horror show. Let's get out. So he runs out. So he takes his goodies to be pawned, and then he notices once again the rewards poster on the wall. $50,000 for information on where the missing kids are. So then he calls the police. Hey, I know information on the kids. So I want to talk about how the money works. Like, how exactly does it work? Is it like cash up front? Do I have to go into the police station to collect my reward? Because I don't want to go to the police station. I kind of have like a phobia. So then he's just like, can a cop meet me here with the cash prize money? And I guess that was supposed to be Paul, because he see Paul, who gave him a warning, and then he runs off. So James runs off back into his tent in the middle of the woods filled with drugs, thinking he got away from Paul, the officer. But then as he's in the middle of the woods, he sees this clown lady in the background waving at him. So he gets freaked out. He runs back to his tent, zips it up, and then he hears footsteps approaching, the zipper to the tent slowly unzipping, so he grabs his needles as a weapon. And haha moment, it's not the clown lady, it's actually Paul, the officer. He stabbed Paul in the face with 3 needles. Ouch. So Paul almost threatens to kill this guy with a shotgun straight to the face. But then he's just like, wait, I swear to you guys, I know where the kids are. Let me show you, I know where they are. He puts James into the cop car, and he's just like, do you have AIDS? Because, drugs, needles. So, James tells Officer Paul where the kids are. So Paul goes and investigates. He gets invited into the dark, spooky house, and then hours pass. Hours pass, where now it's nighttime, and now there's a crazy Officer Paul heading straight to his car, and now he's dragging James into the house, the scary haunted house. And James is powerless because, he's still handcuffed. And that's where their storyline ends for now. Now we follow Marcus, the school principal. So we follow up with him going grocery shopping with his husband. Now, here's where I gotta say, this movie was so close. This movie was going so good. There was no woke bullshit. There was no preaching anything so far. This movie was so good so far. But then they just had to make Marcus gay and married with a man. Now, I just want to be clear, there's nothing wrong with being gay, you know? But it's just Hollywood. That's the issue. And let me just be clear before anyone asks. Is anything nowadays with a gay person woke? Anything at all woke? No. But at this point, yes. I'm not going to label this movie a woke movie, but damn it, it was so close of being garbage free. They just had to make Marcus gay. And let's face it, let's be honest, folks. We know exactly why they did it. It was to check off a box. They were making this movie, and then they thought, let's throw a gay character in this movie just for fun. Let's just do that. They didn't have to put a gay character. They didn't have to make the character of Marcus gay. But they did. Does it affect the movie at all whatsoever? No. But if it doesn't affect the movie, why even put it in? Well, let me tell you, the reason they put it in is to check off a box. So this movie was so close to being pandering bullshit free. But then they just had to make the character of Marcus gay. They didn't kiss or anything. They didn't even hold hands. There was nothing. But still, they could have not included it in the movie and it would have changed nothing. The reason they put it in is to check off the box. And because of that, no, this movie was so close to being free of all that stupid shit. But nope, they had to sneak one in. It was so close. But anyways, so we follow back with Marcus. He's working. He's at his principal's office at school. And his, 2 o'clock appointment is here? And then we see the silhouette through the very foggy windows. Ooh, it's that weird-looking clown lady coming to see him. And then when we see this clown lady's face, yikes. Holy. Why did they make her look like that? So we finally learned the identity of this weird clown lady who's been showing up everywhere. Her name is Gladys. And she is the aunt to Alex. You know, the aunt to the boy, the one and only kid who did not disappear. She is his aunt. And the reason she's meeting up with Principal Marcus is because, well, Alex's parents are very ill, so now she is his stand-in legal guardian. Well, they talk, yada yada yada. So we follow up with Marcus in his home with his husband, about to enjoy a Saturday TV session with a bunch of hot dogs, a ton of hot dogs. But then Gladys shows up demanding that she has to talk right away. It's an emergency. So they let her in, and then she fake coughs. So these gentlemen, being nice, they offers her water. So she's just like, I'll grab you a cup of water. Gladys is like, a bowl, please. Okay. Why not? A bowl of water. So then Gladys pulls out her, her tools, which is a very thorny branch, a very thorny stick, where she intentionally cuts herself, and then, like, rubs the blood all over the stick, wraps the hair around the stick. She cut the hair off of Marcus's husband, whatever his name was, and then wraps it around, and then snap, breaks it. Oh yeah, she also rings this bell that hypnotizes Marcus. She snaps the blood-covered stick with Marcus's husband's hair, and she's now able to control Marcus. Doing so, the bell to control him, and then breaking the blood-covered stick wrapped with his husband's hair, makes him attack his husband. So Marcus chokes and beats his husband to death. He basically did what Invincible did to Conquest, using his head to headbutt in his skull. And then Gladys did the same thing, only with Justine's hair. So now Marcus is running out of the house all goofy-like, blood covered with his, face covered with blood, running towards where Justine is. And the reason Gladys wanted the bowl of water is to put the broken stick into for some reason. That was never really explicitly said why. She just puts it into a bowl of water. Okay. So then we see Marcus running across town, very goofy-like, blood covering his face, and then we follow back. So now we see Marcus go and attack Justine. She runs away for dear life into the gas station. Archer tries to help her out. Eventually, Justine gets in her car, drives away, but Marcus runs after her very goofy-like. And then Marcus gets hit by a car, because, he's running across the street. And that car somehow killed him on impact. I say somehow because we saw what happened to Marcus's body. His head completely exploded. You see his jaw and his tongue hang out, but the entire top half is completely in bits. Like, his head completely blew up. And I'm just thinking, how did that happen? He got hit by a car. How did his head literally explode? Alright, so Justine and Archer are in the hospital. They get touched up, and then they make peace. They realize, alright, Justine, let me show you something. So, I have this map here, 2 different trajectories. They intersect somewhere here. And then Justine recognizes, hey, that's where Alex's house is. The one kid who did not disappear. Something's fishy here. Let's go in and investigate. There must be something about that house. So now we get Alex's story, the kid who did not disappear. Turns out, everything was going fine. He was just a kid going to school. And then his parents are like, well, your Aunt Gladys is coming over to stay with us for a while because she's very sick and she has nowhere else to go. She's family, and we have to help family. Despite the fact that, you never met your Aunt Gladys and your mother barely knows her sister Gladys. But still, she's family. So, yeah. By the time Gladys shows up, she basically assumed ownership of the house. Because Alex's parents just sit there mindlessly because they're under Gladys's control. And then she orders Alex not to say a word of anything. Not to say a word of this to anyone. Because if you do, let me show you what'll happen. She breaks a stick, and then Alex's parents grab a fork and just stab their own face several times. So that explains the wounds on their faces earlier when James broke into their house. They weren't taxidermy stitches, they were fork stab wounds. So Gladys is like, Don't you tell anyone about this, and I will know if you tell anyone. If you tell anyone, I can make your parents hurt themselves even more. I can make them hurt you. I can even make them eat each other to death. You hear me? Good, now go to school. So for a long time, several days, weeks maybe, poor Alex has been living with this witch in his house. So he had to feed his parents himself. So he kept on having to buy cans of soup, kept on opening the cans of soup and feeding his parents. And damn, this kid's hand is shaky. He spoon feeds canned soup to his parents, and he spills a ton of it. Well, eventually, Aunt Gladys is like, oh, I'm too sick to even stand up. I thought being here with you guys would fix me, but no. You can help me get better, Alex. If you get me one item that belongs to every one of your classmates, maybe that'll make me feel better. Does that mean if you feel better, you'll leave and go back home? Yes, Alex. If I feel better, I'll go back home. So Alex wants to steal one item that belongs to every one of his classmates. So during gym class, he sneaks out. You know how in like early grades of school, there was a bin for every kid to have that they put their own belongings into? I thought he was going to steal something from the bins, but no, he just took the name tags off of them. And I'm thinking, that's enough? That's enough? I guess, quote unquote, technically, that's something that belongs to each kid of the school. One thing I found interesting is that Justine caught Alex ditching gym class and going back to the room, but yet she didn't see his... She almost borderline caught him stealing the name tags off of the bins, but then she doesn't even notice, hey, the name tags are gone. Alex, did you take it? So anyways, Alex brings the name tags back home. And, well, Gladys, she rips them all up, breaks her twig, and that is what attracted all the kids. She breaks the stick covered in blood. She rings her bell, of course. She rings the bell, breaks the stick at exactly 2:17 a.m. And that's why all the kids got up and ran to the house. Oh, by the way, before that, there was one scene explaining why the movie was called Weapons. They straight up did the Family Guy moment. The Family Guy joke where the movie says the title of the movie says the title of the film just to justify why the movie's even called that. So at the hospital, Justine was like, I never saw Marcus like this ever. He was fine just days ago. But then Archer's just like, I've seen it before. Let me show you. The footage of my son running away. It's the exact same run. Almost like they were weaponized. They literally had one line in the movie just to justify why the film's even called Weapons. It's because Gladys is able to weaponize people with her branches, her tree, her sticks, whatever. So yeah, we finally got an answer to why the kids just randomly left the house at 2:17 in the morning. And why Alex was the only one who did not disappear. So now Justine and Archer know that this house is suspicious. So they wait outside for anything to happen. But yet they notice a cop car just parked outside. The door opens, a hypnotized Paul comes out, inviting them in. So Justine and Archer go in. And then, no surprise, they get attacked. Because Gladys put up a line of salt, and she told Alex, don't cross it. Or else. Well, Justine and Archer didn't know that, so they crossed the salt, and then Paul and James start attacking them to the point of, trying to kill them. So then we as the audience are just like, no, 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 Alex, do not cross that line of salt. But he does, and then his parents start attacking Alex. Or at least trying to get to him to kill him. So Paul is trying to kill Justine, and Archer is fighting off James. Ooh, this is this is some happy tree friends type of shit. Cause Justine trying to get Paul off of her, she pulls a skin peeler and starts peeling the skin off of his face, but that doesn't faze him. So what she does is she grabs the gun off of Paul's holster. Did I even say that right? And then she first shoots him in the throat. That doesn't put him down. That doesn't stop him. So she shoots him in the head, killing poor Paul. Archer, on the other hand, is fighting James, and this is a problem with the movie, the overuse of comedy. There were funny moments in this movie to balance out the jokes, I guess. Balance out the horror, I guess. But the end of the movie, the third act, just feels like a big joke instead of like a serious payoff to the build-up. Because Archer keeps on fighting James. He keeps on getting knocked out, and then every time he gets knocked out, he wakes up and does this growl. So Archer keeps on punching him out, and then he just keeps on waking up. Even Archer's like, the hell? I keep punching you, I keep knocking you out, yet you keep on getting back up. So they eventually stand up. James gets back up, starts growling and charging at him. So Archer picks him up, literally throws him to the side, and then he just keeps on getting back up. So eventually they fight to the point the door to the basement gets knocked open. James is choking Archer, but then pause on that. But then Justine shoots him in the head. So Archer goes down to the basement and sees all the kids there. He looks for his son, while Justine goes back up and, mourns the death of Paul. At the same time, Gladys manages to snag a hair, one of the hairs of Archer, wraps it around the stick, breaks it, and then is able to control Archer to the point of trying to kill Justine. And then she's just like villain monologuing in front of Justine, like, yes, you're about to die, yes. Well, as Alex is trying to get away from his murderous parents, he realizes, hey, what if I do the same thing that Aunt Gladys is doing? What if I wrap Gladys's hair around the stick? What if I use my blood around the stick, and then I break it? So he does just that, and then Gladys is able to feel it. So then she's just like, oh no. She literally says, oh no. And then she runs. Runs for dear life. Because Alex breaking that stick causes the kids to run after her with murder on the mind. And this entire scene was played out for comedic purposes. Because Gladys runs for dear life. She runs into this person's house. She runs in through the backyard and then leaves through the front door. And then this horde of kids screaming and running kind of goofy break through the windows, break through the door, just going through the houses. And then there was this scene of Gladys running across a yard, and then this guy mowing his lawn sees. And then he sees a horde of kids chasing her. Like, it was funnier. The scene's funnier than I'm making it sound. So Gladys eventually falls victim to the kids, and the kids kill her quite brutally. They literally rip her apart. Like, you can see the kids pulling her head off, pulling her jaw off. Like, literally rip her skull off of her head. Like, disbodying her, pulling out her guts. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel like they could have done that a little better. The camera was super shaky. It was so zoomed in, you can barely see what was happening. We didn't really hear Gladys scream in pain all that much anyways. Like, they could have done that scene better, you know? I wanted to see more details. I wanted to see very graphic details. You know, I saw worse things on The Walking Dead. But this is just like, eh. And also, oops, how long has this been tilted for? I find it kind of hard to believe that, you know, despite there being 17 of them, the strength of kids are able to rip a person apart. Now, I find that kind of hard to believe. Well, Justine is safe, because Archer stopped trying to kill her. Archer follows a trail of destruction, finds his son, who is unresponsive. He's alive, but unresponsive. Picks him up, carries him away, and then the narration is just like, some of the kids were reunited with their parents. Some of them even started to speak again, but long after. And then narration was like, Alex was reunited with his parents, although they had to move, and his parents are, you know, kind of messed up now because they can't speak. And that's how the movie ends. Archer found his son, and it's presumed the other parents found their kids as well. Now, I have a lot of questions. A lot of questions came up about this film. First of all, if Gladys didn't want anyone to know she was here and what she was doing, she even warned Alex, don't you dare tell anyone about this, about me. Why did she show up in the dreams of Justine and Archer? And why did she show up in front of James and wave to him in the middle of the woods? Like, if she wanted no one to know what she was doing, why did she make herself known to our characters, whether or not they knew it? What? Like, huh? And also, why did she want the kids? Unknown. It's presumed that, you know, she's a witch. She siphons life force out of people to make herself feel better because she was weak. She was dying. She's bald because she's losing hair. She's so weak. She even said, like, I thought being here, your parents would be enough to fix me, but I guess not. So you can kind of assume she wants the kids so that she can feed off of their energy so that she can recover. But all in all, why did she want the kids? Unknown. Here's a question I thought of as I was watching the film. Not only did Alex feed his parents soup, he also fed the 17 other kids. So he did a lot of feeding, so those people were eating. How did they use the bathroom? That food had to be processed and had to exit the body at some point, you know? Like, how did Alex's parents and those 17 kids use the bathroom? Did Gladys be like, alright kids, you're gonna stand still in the basement until I say so. The only exception is when you have to use the bathroom. When you have to use the bathroom, you can use the toilet. Something like that. Or, God forbid, did they all just go in their pants? For a month? Because it's revealed in the movie that a month has passed since the kids disappeared. So did the kids just piss and shit standing up in the basement for a month? God damn, that basement must smell rancid. And also, other questions that this film does not tie up at the end of the movie. What's gonna happen to Justine now that she killed a cop in self-defense and her fingerprints are on the gun? Unknown. Does she even know what happened? Unknown. Did Alex explain to anyone after the events of the film that his Aunt Gladys was a witch and doing this? Unknown. You know, what are the origins of Gladys's magic tree where she got the branches? Unknown. And here's the biggest mystery I couldn't help but wonder. Who was narrating the entire film? the beginning and the end of the film, we heard this kid's voice narrating, and we never learn who is narrating. We never learned if it was Alex or not, if it was a different kid. Who was narrating the whole time? Unknown. And that thing about security cameras. So Archer and another parents, they have footage of their kids running out of the house, as well as other parents, their kids running out set off sensors. Two things. One, Justine, you are now the most hated person in town and you don't have security cameras? Bare minimum, you don't have a Ring doorbell in your house installed? And second, the kids ran past, they basically ran across town. They ran from their houses to the other side of town, which meant they ran past dozens of houses along the way. Did not a single house in the entire neighborhood have security cameras? Have Ring doorbells to capture the footage of the direction the kids were running in? Because if they did, eventually one of the cameras will capture the kids aren't running anymore. Hey, they stopped. They must have stopped in a house somewhere around here. Like, wait a second. No other house in the entire town had security cameras? That's a pretty big plot hole that kind of destroys the whole film. Oh, but anyways, there you go. Weapons. A movie that was okay. There are indeed glaring plot holes. The plot was pretty good for the most part, albeit kind of dumbed down by all the humor. And, you know, I at this point, I cannot just throw out forgiveness when it comes to these woke things, you know? They made the character of Marcus gay to check off a box and nothing else. There was no other reason for him to be gay but to check off a box. This movie would have been exactly the same had that not been in the film. But they put it in the film to check off a box. But hey, outstanding performances from Julia Gardner, Josh Brolin, Alden, whoever plays James, I don't know who he is. I'll admit, there were indeed some creepy moments. But is it just me, or do they just not make horror movies like they used to? You know, horror movies nowadays just have cheap jump scares and a plot that has a lot of plot holes. I remember back then, horror movies were genuinely scary. Then again, I was a kid back then. Like, I don't know if I ever will bring up the courage to watch the Boogeyman movies again, because goddamn, those were terrifying to me. I wonder if I watch them now, I will just laugh at them. But yeah, weapons. It also does not really need to be titled weapons whatsoever. You know, Gladys needing the life force from others to stay young and healthy kind of reminded me of Tangled. Doesn't it? I forget the character's name. Rapunzel's fake mother needing her hair to stay young. That's what it reminded me of. Anyways, I rambled on too long. I went 10 minutes over. I'm about to end. There you go, folks. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie Weapons. And nothing. See ya.